That August night in '94 hung heavy and humid over the cracked asphalt of the Blacktop. The air was a thick, heady mix of cheap cologne, sweat, and cut grass. The speakers, these monstrous things that fuzzed a little at the edges, were blasting a bass line so heavy you could feel it vibrating right up through your shoes. It was a tribe called Quest. Their smart, jazzy flowed the perfect soundtrack for teenage dreams and defiance. I was 16, Maya, rocking my baggiest jeans and a cropped Spice Girls tee, a little nod to the future. I guess I was hugging the cool, splintered metal of the bleachers, watching everything unfold. The worn-out free throw lines and the faded center circle. That was the heart of our dance floor, a canvas for all this vibrant chaos. You saw it all out there. Oversized jerseys, backward baseball caps, and chunky sneakers swirling under the yellowish glow of a single, precarious light bulb strung up by an extension cord. Dust motes danced in that light beam like tiny, happy ghosts. In a far corner, a few guys were practicing some tentative breakdance moves on a piece of cardboard, their rhythm locked tight to the powerful main speakers. It was 8 o'clock, the warm-up hour. I ached to be in the middle of it all, to let that rhythm just shake the self-consciousness right out of me. But my feet felt like they were glued to the ground. The bass was a physical thing, thumping against my chest like a second heartbeat. But I was still just an observer. I watched the unwritten rules of the Blacktop play out. The subtle head nods, the quick flashes of a smile, the way the crowd would part like the Red Sea for a truly skilled dancer. It was a whole world with its own language. Then, at 8:35, my eyes met his. Julio. He was 17, effortlessly cool in this worn Lakers jersey. He was the undisputed king of this court, not because he was loud, but because of his quiet confidence and moves that were just fluid, sharp, and always perfectly on beat. He caught my eye from across the sea of people. He gave me this subtle, knowing nod. It was a silent invitation, a secret just between us. A blush crept up my neck, hot and prickly, despite the cool metal I was leaning against. I knew this was my chance, my moment to cross that invisible line from observer to participant, but the gravitational pull of the bleachers was so strong. It felt safer over here. About 20 minutes later, the tribe called Quest track faded out, and the iconic intro to Warren G's Regulate slid in. The whole energy of the party shifted slightly, becoming smoother, more laid back, that cool West Coast vibe washing over us. I took one small step down from the bleachers. Just one. I was almost there. Almost committed. I saw Julio laugh at something his friend said, and then he looked back, his eyes searching for me in the crowd. He gave me a small, encouraging raise of his hand, like he was ready to meet me halfway. My heart did a little flip. Okay, Maya, you can do this. But then, at 9:02, it all went wrong. A harsh crackle of static sliced right through the mellow G-funk. The heavy bass died an abrupt, ugly death. A tense murmur rippled through the crowd, replacing the music. A group of older kids, all flannel, torn denim, and heavy Doc Martens had surrounded the guy by the speakers. They were yelling, arguing about switching up the vibe, pushing for some grungy alternative rock. One of them sneered, "Dude, we've heard enough of this noise.
Put on Pearl Jam or something. Man, mix it up."
The party's electric energy just sagged, like a deflated balloon. That sudden silence was deafening, and it made their argument the unwanted focus of the entire Blacktop. It felt like a spotlight was shining right on me. On my hesitation, my heart still beating hard from Julio's glance, the night was tipping toward an awkward, angry end. The magic was gone, and that's when it hit me. Now or never. A fierce jolt of adrenaline surged through me. Suddenly, the embarrassment of just standing there felt way worse than the fear of actually doing something. I reached into my fanny pack, my fingers closing around the thin, familiar plastic of a cassette tape. Without a second thought, driven by this raw impulse to save the night, to save the mood, I started walking. I strode purposefully towards that hostile huddle by the speakers, my heart pounding a frantic drum against my ribs. "Just play this," I shouted. My voice was surprisingly steady and clear, cutting right through their standoff. I held out my well-worn tape, the label facing the guy at the controls. It's the best of 94. Nobody wants to fight, they want to dance. The controller, this lanky guy named Marcus, was just stunned for a second. He glanced down at the tape, at its handwritten label, Sama Jamuza. Julio, such a hopeful title. He looked at the arguing flannel guys, then back at my small, determined face. With a sigh and a dismissive shrug to the Grunge crew, he popped the tape into the deck. And then, at 9:09, explosion! The opening! Iconic synth chords of C+C Music Factory-esque on. Nay, make you sweat, everybody dance now blasted through the speakers. That powerful, driving beat washed over the blacktop like a tidal wave. The tension instantly evaporated. It was replaced by this collective, immediate roar of approval. The crowd erupted, surging back to life, hands shooting straight into the air. The Grunge guys, defeated but not wanting to leave the party, just kind of melted back into the crowd. And Julio, he was there in an instant, pushing through the revitalized dancers, a broad, easy smile on his face. He extended his hand to me, his eyes sparkling in that dim, yellow light. "Finally," he said, his voice just loud enough to hear over the massive, renewed beat. "Took you long enough?" I grinned, a genuine, unburdened smile that reached all the way to my eyes. I took his hand, my fingers finding his. He pulled me gently but decisively into the vibrant, pulsating heart of the party.
The bass vibrated through me, through the ground, through the very air.
I closed my eyes for just a second, letting the music completely consume me. Then I opened them again and started to move. Really, truly dancing, right there in the middle of it all. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to hit subscribe for more stories.